Should you take a woman on a date? My consensus is no, you should not. In all my travels, I've only had one time where I've went on a technical quote unquote date, and I don't even think it really was considered a technical quote unquote date. It just resembled one. We met first at a park, and then we went and saw a movie, basically, and I paid for the movie. All the other times, and it's pardon me, I should have prefaced that by saying a successful time with a girl. I've gone on a couple other quote unquote dates where it didn't go anywhere. Like I took a girl to get pizza. There's another time I went to a restaurant. I've had stuff like that, but I don't believe that you need to do that. I don't think it's necessary. If a girl really likes you, if a woman really likes you, she'll do whatever. I'm not saying it doesn't work, and I'm not saying that. I'm trying to be careful in what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that like it's not culture per se. That's not what I mean. I think that it can work. I'm not saying if you take a girl on a date, it won't work. I'm just saying it's not necessary. And I think that by not taking a girl on a date, you are actually increasing your odds at a successful relationship with that girl. And the reason why is because when you take a girl on a date, there's two reasons. The first reason is that it puts you in the buyer frame and her in the seller frame because of culture, right? Because of culture. Because it's always culture that the man is taking her on a date, and impresses her, things like that. Okay, so it puts you in a buyer frame and it puts her in a seller frame, meaning you got to impress her, right? The other thing is it sets a precedent of you spending money. And I know people talk about, there's all this debate about, 50-50, but there's too much judgment revolving around it. And it's too much stress at the very beginning when that's the opposite of what you want. You don't want pressure. You don't want stress. So when you take a girl on a date, you're setting these expectations, and you're making her question like, oh, is he going to pay for it? Is he going to make me go 50-50? Where's he going to take me? What's he suggesting? It's him. He has to jump through the hoops. He has to plan everything. So all the pressure's on him. When you remove that, because here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Women who only want you to take them on a date, first of all, you probably might want to avoid those women anyways because they're high standards. If a woman is like, no, you need to take me on a date, she's got high standards, and you probably don't want to date that girl anyways. But and also that, that's a way to vet. You vet her by how's she responding. What does she want to do? How's she responding to my setting up a hangout or whatever? If she wants me to take her on a date, she wants to do all these things, whatever. I mean, like, coffee is pretty general. If we say, hey, let's get a coffee, that's decent. That's not like, it's technically a date, but it's not like, oh, let's go to a restaurant, or oh, let's go spend a bunch of money. Whenever you do that, you're falling into this frame of trying to impress her. Again, it's a buyer-seller frame, right? So if there's a girl who is going to just hang out with you, and here's what I suggest as an alternative. Let's just hang out. Let's just hang out and get to know each other. Let's go for a walk. We'll go for a hike. Or we could just meet up and talk, right? I've gone directly to women's houses before, even though that's a bit bold. I've done it, and it worked. But most of the time, it's like, let's meet in a public place. Let's go for a walk. Let's talk. Let's see if we vibe. And it's the perfect scenario because you both can vet each other. You both can hash it out and see, do I like this guy's personality? Do I like this girl's personality? Do I, is there a vibe? Is there chemistry? Does she like your jokes? Do you like the way she's responding to you? You can just pick up on things. But the problem with a date, the problem with like, oh, let's go get food, or oh, let's go do this. The problem is that also it's a performance, right? People are putting on a performance. Oh, it's this date, and women like it. I get that women like it. I understand it. I get it. Women like the idea of being doted on. They like the idea of, oh, I'm special. This is my special night. I get it. but it's not in your interest as a man, in my opinion, to do that, because again, it sets all these expectations, right? And it's also when you're in that buyer seller frame, when you're in the buyer frame, she's in the seller frame, you're also in the boyfriend frame. You're also in like, oh, he's doing cordial things for me, therefore it's falling into this boyfriend frame, which means she's not going to she's going to put you in that frame. So here's the thing, and you can hash out like how she reacts to it. If she reacts to, if you're like, hey, let's just hang out. If she reacts well to it, like, yeah, okay, let's just hang out. First of all, it means she's down to earth, probably. It means she's cool. And also it means she's very attracted to you. Because most of the other guys, she might say, oh, you got to take me on a date first or whatever. But with you, if she just hangs out with you, it shows really good intentions on her part. It's really good it's a good compliance test, right? But if she's like, oh no, you need to take me on a date, blah blah blah, then it shows that, okay, you're in the job application frame. She's you're trying to apply for her as a job, and she's got other guys, in the job application frame, and you're just one of those guys trying to get the job, right? So if you're in that frame, it's not good, right? So you're really setting yourself back on multiple different levels, right? You're in the buyer seller frame, you're in the job application frame, you got to impress her. Even though there's this talk of 50-50, whatever, the truth is that most women want men to pay, right? It's just a culture thing. And then you got to start thinking about that, who's going to pay, and then she's going to be thinking about, so there's all these negatives, right? And here's the other thing, if she doesn't want to just hang out with you, then just lose her, then just dump her, or just say whatever, and don't fall into her, don't jump through her hoops. If she's not going to meet you where you want to meet or do what you want to do, then she's not compliant, and she's not really that attracted to you anyway. She's trying to make you jump through her hoops. And guys got to stop doing this. Guys need to take their power back. Not only do men have to have standards in general, men have to take their power back in the courting process. Take your power back. If she's not going to just meet up with you and hang out with you like a human being, like a peer, like she's your peer, and we're just hanging out and we're just getting to know each other on a really neutral, whatever basis, then she's probably not going to be cool to date, and you're going to be in this, like, you're playing her game. You're playing by her rules when you have to jump through her hoops, right? So there's lots of pros to there's a lot more pros to just a meetup and a hangout than there is to going on a date. On just so many different levels. Coffee is kind of neutral because it's just like coffee. It's like, it doesn't really matter. And I think coffee also is so benign, like that, it's easy for both of you to pay, because it's such a, like, oh, let's go get a coffee. How much is a coffee? Like $5. Like, who cares? Here's my credit. It's like she probably wouldn't even expect you to pay. But when you're in a situation like a restaurant, or you're in a situation like some event or something, she's going to expect you to pay. And when you're paying, you're in that buyer frame, and don't think, and I've heard this before, guys think like, oh, well, if I pay, then she's going to feel obligated to, like, put out, or she's going to be obligated to, like, be my girlfriend. Like, no, I don't believe that's true. I think that women actually, they might feel the opposite. I think that if you pay, they might think, well, this guy's just he's just an ATM, or he's, it actually is less attractive, right? So the best date, or the best the best thing to do, in my opinion, to get a girl to get a girl out of the house to be with you, is to go on a hike, or to go and just hang out on, like, say you have like a downtown area, just go walk around downtown and talk to each other. It should be a public place, right? You don't want to freak her out, like, let's go hang out real late at night, or let's go meet up someplace where nobody, like, meet up in public on the first time. That's totally fine. I used to just meet girls at parks back in the day, when I was dating around a lot. And I still do that. I'll say, hey, let's go for a hike. Let's, and it's about the same. I think I think they have the same reactions. If they like you, they're gonna. A lot of times, a girl will just come right over to your house. If you say, hey, let's, I got some champagne in my house. You should come over for a drink. If she's really into you, she'll do that. Like, there's no reason why not. It's a compliance test, and it shows her temperature. It checks her temperature of how much she really likes you, how much she's really into you. You don't have to play those stupid games of oh, let me take you on a date, and let me spoil you, and let me, you don't have to do that. If a girl really likes you, she'll be down to do whatever, and that's just the truth of the matter. And if you're taking her on a date, a lot of times she'll go home to the dude who never took her on a date, and she'll be banging that guy while you took her on a date. And she'll a lot of times these girls will just use guys for dates, and they'll go home and sleep with the guy who never took her on a date because it's all about your mindset. It's your frame. He thinks he's better than her. He thinks he doesn't need to do that. And so she'll fall into his frame because he's more confident and he has more leverage and more power. And that's what women want anyways. So the little beta guys who are like, yeah, let me take you on a date. Like she'll go do that. Sure. She'll feel all giddy and dress up and, oh, I'm so special. This is my date, and then she'll go and have him pay for the food, and then she'll okay, see you later, and then she'll go home and text that bad boy to come over and smash. Trust me, man, this is what girls these days are doing. So again, you're vetting. If you say, hey, let's just hang out, or hey, come over, or let's just chill and kick it, you're vetting. If she doesn't want to do that, then she probably doesn't have that high attraction for you anyways, and you could just say, well, it wasn't worth my time. Because here's the thing, if she doesn't have high enough attraction for you to just come out and hang out with you, or come out and go for a walk, or go on a hike, or whatever, some neutral thing. And it's not about money. You could spend money. I mean, $50 on a date is nothing. Women aren't expecting more. If you're paying more than $50 on a date anyways, like, you're a sucker. But $50 on a date is nothing. Women don't care. To them, it's like, they'll say, oh, it's just, it's the thought, it's the gesture, and that's true. But again, it's the event, and you're in her frame, right? So, it's not about the money. Like, again, you could go spend $50 at some restaurant or whatever, and have a nice little meal, whatever. It's not the point. The point is that, again, it's not about the money. The point is you are in that buyer frame. You're putting yourself at a weakness. It doesn't matter how much money. You can spend 50, you can spend 250. Guys need to get that out of their head, that like, oh, I need to spend a lot of money on her to impress her. No. Yes, women care about money. That's true, but not in the way that you think. They care about money as a resource, as in, can he protect me? Can he provide for me? Can we survive long term? But if we're talking short term attraction, if we're talking, is she just interested in me, period. Your money is only going to actually work against you. Guys think that they'll use money and it'll make her warm up to her. No, the opposite is true. She just thinks you're a sucker if you're spending money on her, right? Particularly if you haven't slept together. Like, what dates are really for are for like a long-term relationship. If you're in a long-term relationship, if you dated a girl for 3 months, 6 months, that's when you start having dates. You start having dates after you've been sleeping with her for 90 days, after you've been sleeping with her for half a year. Because what'll happen is, if you don't start having dates, she'll start to think she's not special. She'll start to think that she's not your special girl. And then she'll just be like, well, this guy doesn't ever do anything for me. And then she'll start to stray. If you take her on dates after 3 to 6 months, then she'll start to think, well, he really loves me. That's how you keep a girl, is you take her on dates. You don't take a girl on a date to get a girl. You take a girl on a date to keep a girl. Anyways, I hope this has been informative. This has just been my experience. I find this to be the best way. I find it to be the thing that works the most. And also, it'll help men a lot, because women are taking advantage of a lot of men. Women are taking advantage of men's monies, men's pockets, men's time, right? Don't take a woman on a date because you're actually doing men a disservice, because the more you dote on women, the more you try to impress her with money at the very beginning, the more she's going to think we're all just suckers. The more women are going to think that we're all just these little lap dogs that'll jump through her hoops. So it's good for men if men stop taking women on dates and just start making them bring something to the table. And when you guys meet up in person, she has to bring something to the table. It's not just, oh, I'm here. Obviously you're trying to buy me. You're trying to get some sex. So you're trying to take me on this date and buy me. If you show up in person and you got to do it one-on-one, and it's just 50-50, personality wise, it's just your personality meets her personality, to see if you vibe, to see if there's chemistry, then she's got to bring something to the table. She's got to actually have character, have a, she can't just be like, oh, well, I'm here and he wants to have sex with me, and this is my time because this is my date. That's why women want to go on dates, but again, they don't reward, most of the time. I'm not saying they never do this. Most of the time they don't reward guys with sex when guys are jumping through her hoops, because he's in the buyer frame, he's below her, and subconsciously, psychologically, she's not thinking that she has to bring anything to the table. She's thinking, oh, here's another guy who's trying to buy my sex. Da, 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 da. So subconsciously, it's better if you just meet up. All right. So I hope that's helpful. Appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.